Real life sharpening at Bonika Shears. This is a time-lapse video of some typical shears I might get in to sharpen. These ones I'm working on now are for a customer who's waiting out front. It's a Hanako shear that I'm very familiar with, and it has a missing washer. So you'll see how I'm going through looking, trying to find just the right size washer to fit in the shear. And that's not always easy. I'm cleaning the shears, and I'm going to next take a look at them, mark the edges with a Sharpie, set my clamp, and then I'm going to work the ride line. And I'm checking to see if I have a nice ride line, putting them on the clamp. Going to create these I did at a 45-degree angle. Remove the burr, and I went from a worn 800 grit to a polishing, and that seems to work pretty well when it's just everyday sharpening, and they're a moderate range shear. These are some of the lower end of the Hanakos. Checking, make sure all my burr's gone, using a nail buffer for that. Wiping them off, cleaning them, oiling them. Now reassemble them. Let's cut through, make sure all the burrs are gone. I'm going to check the adjustment and test them again on wet tissue. They cut perfectly. Check the adjustment over and over because that's the #1 complaint. I noticed that the bumper has a problem. You're going to see me struggling with this. The little plastic part has worn off the screw-in bumper, and because there's still plastic on there, I can't put the bumper cap on. So I'm going to look and see if I can find another screw-in bumper. And in searching, I try a couple of different ones. This one, oh, it's too big. Try that one. That's going to work, but now the tips don't come together. And I'm going to very gently and carefully bend the handles to bring the tips together. I wrap them up with a bow, and those are ready to go. Next, I have some thinners. These actually are our older model, discontinued model of our old jazzy style. I've decided not to take them apart. They were cutting hair. When I tested them, they weren't too bad, so I just needed to bring a little sharpness back to it. And I'm avoiding taking them apart because I happen to know the screw on these tend to have a problem sometimes when you're putting them back together, and I'm going to leave well enough alone. Don't fix something if it's not broken. And I'm checking them on perm paper. It cuts well. I'm testing hair, and it cuts fine on hair. Those are good to go. Put some oil on them, tie them up in a bow, and they're good to go. Next, I have some mail order shears, and these were our old Bonika classics, and you see it's pulling a little bit. I'm testing it first. These are some really nice shears, and you're going to see me take a few extra steps with them. Working the ride line now, and then I'm going to go to a finer grit and do the ride line with these. Wish it really was this fast. Now I'm setting this at a much sharper angle because I know these shears will take it. They're a nice cobalt steel, and I'm looking for a finer grit abrasive, so that I can go after the 800, go to something a little bit finer. I've got my burr. It looks like the last person that sharpened it probably did it at a 40 instead of a 45. Now I'm getting a little smoother, And I always assume someone with a good quality shear like this is going to slide cut, so I'm going to want my shears to slide cut. Making a little smoother. I was cleaning off with a swarf eraser there. Polish. Remove my burr first. Notice how I cover my water stone so it doesn't get debris on it. Polish. Clean all the polish grit off. Put away my stones. Put away my supplies. I'm ready to reassemble the shears. Yep, making sure that tip, because that's important. Check the adjustment, double check the adjustment, check it again. This one gets a pretty blue bow, and it's in the box to go. Now these are some shears that were given to me. Most of them are cheap Pakistani scissors, and I'm just going to show you how I do some of the low-end scissors. I'm just picking through and seeing what all is in here. You don't need to take the same steps on lower end, lower quality scissors as you do on higher end shears. This one says German on it, but it's not German. And I'm marking down that I need a finger rest because I'm keeping track of this. These all belong to one customer. Finger rest is on there. It's good to have a variety of different size finger rests and washers. You never know what size you'll need. I'm setting the clamp much blunter, and I'm getting a 60 micron, something really coarse. Using a micron instead of my blue film. I use both. And I'm not rotating it this time, these are a beveled edge. Cutting the burr off. Feel pretty good. Cut dry tissue, cut wet tissue. Pretty good. Clean them off. Oil them. And those are good to go. Now I have another shear. I'm going to use my arc honed, because it has a little bit of a ride here. I want to make it nice and smooth, within reason. Some shears, if you do too much to the ride, that's why I'm not taking them apart. If you do too much of the ride, you'll actually make them worse. You just need to make it smooth, but if you overdo it, they're going to push hair, not cut right, fold. Those cut, those are good to go. Now this is the same shear, same style as the one I just did. And I'm going to just start with this 30 micron this time because the burr came up pretty fast with the 60 micron. So I might be able to get it just for the 30, be able to skip a step. Something's not right about it. Something's not cutting right in that part near the tip, about an inch from the tip. I'm going to go over it again. It's cutting, but something's just not, the blades are actually crossing too much. I should have started with that 60 grit after all. 60 micron. Now I'm back to the 30 micron. Same thing on the other blade. Sometimes it doesn't pay to cut steps out. And those are cutting to my satisfaction. Oil them. Those are good to go. Now here's some really cheap Pakistani. Do I want to take them apart or not? I think I'm going to need to. There's something doesn't feel right about that pivot. So I might need to take it apart and see if there's a broken washer or something in there. Now all the parts look right. That ride line looks just so rough that I'm having to use the rounded side of my arc comb in order to get it. Now these, I am once again going at that lower blunter angle, 35-degree angle. Feeling if I got all the nicks out. Cheaper scissors, sometimes the harder it is to sharpen them. Spot just in there that I'm not happy with. There we go. Nail buffer is always good to get any residual burrs off. Let's work this second shear here. This one will be a little easier. Get the burr off. How's it cutting? Okay. Let's test it. Little oil. That's okay. Or a cheap scissor. Let's put our little rainbow colored ones together here now. All these pieces back together. A little oil. Those are done.